Good morning, students.
Good morning, ma'am.
Morning, ma'am.
Morning. Morning. Yes, so today's class, I will be once again revising the 7 steps or the 7 step algorithm for converting the ER diagram to relational database. I think couple of y'all had asked for it regarding how to convert, and you all wanted me to repeat that. That is the reason I am trying to repeat this concept today in today's class. I mean, what are the different steps? Once you are given the ER diagram, what are the steps? How can you convert the ER diagram into a set of tables? This is what we are going to see. We have already done this concept. As I told you once again, that since you all are asked for me to repeat this concept, I'm trying to do it again. If you all have any doubts, please stop me then and there and ask me. This concept is very important because any ER diagram, first of all, you should know how to write an ER diagram. Any ER diagram that is written, you should definitely know how to convert it into tables. What should be converted as a table and what should not be converted as a table. Whether I should take every entity as a table, every relationship as a table, what I should do. This is very important. And how we are, if there is a one-to-one relationship, if there is a 1 to n, m to n to 1, how we are going to take each of these steps, and if we have a weak entity, what to do, if we have a strong entity, what to do, and if we have multi-valued attributes, then what to do, how to take it into the table when we go for table creation, how to do it. That is what we are going to revise once again. As I told, we have already done this concept, right? So since you all have some doubts, I'm trying to help you all out in this case. So today's class, we will be trying to revise on this concept. This is the example ER diagram that I'll be taking as per your syllabus. Okay. Couple of other examples we have seen in our lab exercise itself. Even for this cricket exercise, we wrote an ER diagram and we converted it into set of tables, right? So same thing here also. This is the ER diagram we already have. How are we going to convert this ER diagram into set of tables? Please pay attention. This is an extra revision class because you are asked for it. I'm doing it again. If you are not going to pay attention and not listen to it, then there is no point in me doing it again, right? Please stop me wherever you have doubts and ask me then and there. You unmute and you speak. If you put it in the chat window, I'll not be able to know because I'll be on a different screen, right? So please pay attention. Right. So this is the ER diagram. What are the entities in this ER diagram? Can anyone tell me? I want this class to be very interactive because we've already done this. So you should be at least having some idea about it. You should start answering me. What are the entities that we have in this diagram, ER diagram? What are the entities that you are seeing in this ER diagram? Which are the entities here? Which are the entities here?
Ma'am, employee. department, project, and dependent.
Employee, department, project, dependent. Yes. Are all of them same kind of entities, or what is the difference? So someone said there are 4 entities: employee,
Ma'am,
department, project.
dependence of is my multi-value.
Sorry, tell me again.
Ma'am, dependence of is my multi-value attribute.
No, dependent, sir. Dependent is a weak entity, not multi-valued. It's not an attribute. You only told it is entity, is it not? Then how
Yes,
can
ma'am,
it become an attribute suddenly? See, don't get confused between entity and attribute. Entity is what we are showing in the rectangle is an entity. Employee is an entity. Department is an entity. Project is an entity. Dependent is also an entity. So there are four entities here. Okay. Now there are two types of entities which are called strong entity and weak entity. Strong entity are those which are having a primary key. If they have a primary key, then it is called as a strong entity. If they don't have a primary key, then you call that entity as a weak entity. That means in a particular entity, you are not able to identify any unique key. Then you call it as a weak entity. Weak entity is always shown with, see here, double rectangle. Double rectangle means it is a weak entity. Strong entity, all strong entities, we try to show it with a single entity, a single rectangle. So in the yesterday's example, stadium cricket, all were strong entities only. We did not have any weak entities there. So all strong entities will be shown by a rectangle, single rectangle line. If you have a weak entity is one which does not have a primary key. We are not able to identify any particular unique key in that particular entity. Then you call it as a weak entity. Weak entity, what is the notation? It is double rectangle. So there are three strong entities here. Employee is one strong entity because SSN is there as a primary key. Department is also a strong entity because department number is there as a primary key. Project is also a strong entity because number is there as the primary key. Project number is there as a primary key. Whereas dependent is a weak entity because you don't have any primary key there. Name cannot be a primary key, gender cannot be a primary key, date of birth, relationship cannot be a primary key. So it doesn't have any primary key. Hence I call it as a weak entity, and hence it is shown as a double rectangle. Till here, is it clear? All of you?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. If you are not going to pay attention, I will stop this class. I'm very serious on that. Whenever I'm asking questions, I want answers. I want the class to be interactive. Simply, I cannot go on talking, and if you are not following, I don't even get to know that. Unless you tell me, how will I know what is your doubt? Right. Now, these are the entities. So we have identified 4 important entities, of which 3 are strong entities, 1 is a weak entity. Now, every entity will have some attributes. Attribute means what? Something which is going to describe that particular entity. How do I describe this employee? I will describe, or I will identify the employee by his name, by his ID, by his salary, by his date of birth, by its gender. These are all nothing but some properties or some characteristics of that particular employee. Those properties or those characteristics, I call it as attributes of that particular entity. So when I say employee, these are all the attributes that are there with that particular entity. So department, how do I identify the department? Department has a name, department has a number, department has some location, right? So these are all nothing but characteristics or properties that are going to identify that particular department. So they are called as attribute. Attribute means what? The properties that describe the entity, you call them as attributes. Project. How do I describe the project? Project has a name, project has a number, project has a location. So I'm describing project with the help of these properties. These properties, I call them as attributes. Even weak entities will also have attributes. Weak entity also, how should I describe weak entity? Name is there. Every weak entity will have a name. He'll have a gender, date, date of birth, relationship. These are all attributes of a weak entity. So even weak entity will also have attributes. Only thing is they will not have a primary key attribute. They will not have that. But they'll have attributes. Anything that describes the entity is called as attributes. Even relationship will have attributes. Look here, manages is a relationship. It has its own attribute called as start date. So start date is an attribute of the relationship manages. Hours is our attribute of works on. Like that, relationship may have attributes, may not have attributes. See here, works for is a relationship. It has works for is a relationship. It has no attributes at all. Correct? But manages is also a relationship. It has some attributes. Works on is also a relationship. It has some attributes. Relationships may have attributes, may not have attributes. That's okay. But entities definitely will have attributes. Whether they are strong entity or weak entity, they will definitely have some attributes. Strong entity means one of them will be the primary key. Weak entity don't have a primary key. Is this much clear to you all?
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Now let us move on to the next important concept, ER to relational mapping algorithm. These are the 7 important steps in order to convert a ER diagram to a set of tables. The first step is mapping of regular entity types, mapping of weak entity type, then mapping of one-to-one relation, 1 to n, m to n. Then what we should do if we have a multi-valued attribute, how to convert it into a table, and then mapping of n-ary relationship types. That means if you have something more than a binary relationship, then how to convert. Here and all we are trying to see. Here it is binary 1 to 1. This is also binary 1 to 1, 1 to n, binary m to n. These are all binary relationships that we are going to see. But what if I have something more than binary? If I have a ternary relationship, if I have a relationship where 4 entities are participating, then how do I convert it? So these are the steps that you will have to follow when you want to convert a ER diagram into a set of tables. Let us look into each step. Now, if this question is asked to you, you should write down all the steps. You should also write an example for every particular step. This whole ER diagram you need not write. You can take every part by part. You can take one part of the ER diagram, try to explain it with that particular step. That much if you do, that is more than enough. So step 1, let us see. Mapping of regular entity type. Regular entity means is nothing but the strong entity. What is a strong entity?
Yes.
What is
Which
strong
have
entity?
which has a primary key.
Something which has a primary key. Regular entity is also nothing but your strong entity. So whatever regular entities that we have in the ER diagram, convert all of them, create a table for all the strong entities. So employee will be a table, department will be a table, project will be a table. So just you can close your eyes and create table for all the strong entities that are there in the ER diagram. Now, yesterday's example, let us go back. I will give you one more, that is one example. For every strong entity that is there in the ER diagram, you can simply write down or create a table. Whatever attributes are there of that particular entity, they will all come as part of your table. So employee, you will create a table called employee. What will be the attribute? You will have SSN, E number, name, date of birth, salary, gender. All this will come as your attributes or the columns of that particular table. Similarly, department. Department is a strong entity. So what will be the columns of this particular table department? Create table department. You will have name, you will have number. Locations you will not have there because it is a multi-valued attribute. Next, project. Create table project. So you will have name, number, locations. So whatever attributes are there for the strong entity, all that you can take it into your table creation, except when you have multi-valued attributes. Also, one more point I should tell. I will go into this example. Yeah. See here, we had employee. So we create employee is a strong entity because you have a primary key for that. So how have we created? Look at the table that we have created here. So for this employee table, all these attributes will come into your table creation. All this will form the columns. E number, S name, SSN, E number, F name, middle initial, L name, address, gender, and DOB, date of birth. Okay. Now look here. What kind of attribute is name?
Multi-valued.
No.
Composite attribute.
Composite attribute. Name is a composite attribute. What are the components of name there? F name, middle initial, last name. These are the components that are there for the name. Now, whenever you have a composite attribute, you cannot take it as it is. You should decide whether F name, L name, middle initial is of importance to me or not. If it is important, that means if I want to record the first name, last name, initial, everything of an employee, it is important for me, then what I should do, I have to create separate columns for each of these components. See here, F name is a separate column, middle initial is a separate column, L name is a separate column. In that case, this name will not appear in the table. You don't have any attribute as called as name here. Whenever an attribute is a composite attribute, if you want to store the value of each of its components, then you have to create a separate column for each of these components. I want to store the F name and the initial and the last name separately of all the employees. If that is the case, only then I will create 3 different columns for this name. In that case, your name as an attribute will not come. Do we find here name in this table? We don't find name. We are finding only the components. Right? If you don't want, if you are not interested in, storing first name, last name, initial, everything, I don't want to store separately. It is of no importance to me. I only want to know the name. That's all. I don't want to split and store it. I don't want. Then in that case, you can simply create a column called as name and leave it off. It depends on what application you are doing, how you want to store the data and what data is of how much importance to you. That's all. In yesterday's lab, now I will come to one more. This is one example. Let me look into the other. Yeah. See here, you have 2 more. We had 2 more strong entities. One was department. See, you had this part of the ER diagram, which is a strong entity. We have simply created a table for this strong entity. Now, name and number. Location is a multi-valued. Multi-valued attribute should not come along with this. You cannot put here delocation. That is wrong. You cannot do that. Whenever you have a multi-valued attribute, you have to create a new table for every multi-valued attribute. That is the last step. We'll come to that later. Then, which was the other strong entity that we had? Project was a strong entity. So simply create a table for project. See, what are the attributes of project? Name, number, location. Bring out all that here. Here location is not a multi-valued. Whenever it is a multi-valued, it will be shown with double oval like this. Only then it is called as a multi-valued. Here everything is single valued only. So all this will come as part of your table. Each one will become one column. Only if you have a component composite attribute, either you should have one column for each of the components, or simply take name as one column and leave it off. Depends on how you want to store the data. Now, in yesterday's example, this is one example. I will give you one more. In yesterday's example, what did we have? What were the entities? If you have the ER diagram of yesterday's lab program, please take it out and refer as I tell. I think you would have noted it down last week when we did that. Look into that and tell me, what are the strong entities there? What are the strong entities that we saw in the cricket example?
Player.
Yeah, player is a strong entity, team is a strong entity, stadium is a strong entity, match is a strong entity. Yes, we have 4 strong entities. All are strong. We have only 4 entities there. All the 4 are strong entities because all of them have primary key. What have we done while creating table? We have created all the 4 entities, 4 different tables we have created. Correct? And in case of I think in case of address, I don't know which table is that, team or stadium, I don't know. They had told address includes phone, city, pin code and all that. Correct? So we wanted city. For us, city was important. So we have created a separate column for city, separate column for phone number, but there is no column called as address. Are you observing that? Which table we did that? Let me check.
Stadium, ma'am.
Stadium, yes. So stadium, they have told address will include all that, not stadium. Yeah, stadium, they have told address will include city, area name and pin code. They have told it very clearly. So in the ER diagram, look into the ER diagram. For stadium, address is a composite attribute. Now, because I wanted to store the value of the city, we have taken separate columns for city, area name and pin code. And if you look into the stadium table, there is no column called as address. Either you store the whole address as one column, or if you are interested in storing the values of city, pin code and all, then you should have 3 different columns. That is how you have to store your multi-valued attributes. Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. That is how you have to store your composite attributes. Composite attributes, components of the composite attributes, right? So that is an example. So 4 entities we have seen, we have created 4 different tables. So any strong entity, what is the first step? Any strong entity that you have in the ER diagram, simply convert it into table along with its attributes as columns. When you make its attributes as columns, try to avoid multi-valued attributes. If you have multi-valued attribute, that should not be part of this table. You have to create a new table. If you have composite attributes, either store the composite attribute as one column or store the components. You cannot store both of them. This is your first step. Any doubts at this point of time?
No, ma'am.
No.
Yeah. So that is the first step. Let's move on to all this is theory. I don't want to tell all that. I have already told with respect to example. Now, let us move on to the second step. Second step is what? Mapping of weak entity types. For every weak entity also, you should create a table. This is what we had. You remember the ER diagram that I showed you? This whole thing was there in that. Out of this, employee is a strong entity. This dependent is a weak entity. That is why we have shown, look at the notation of this dependent and look at the notation of employee. Both are different. Employee is a strong entity, only one rectangle. Dependent is a weak entity. You have to show it with 2 rectangles. right? So next, what is our step? Whenever you have a weak entity in the ER diagram, convert that also into a table. That also will come into the table. But since it is a weak entity, you don't have a primary key for that. Now, weak entity should always be associated with the owner entity. Which is the owner entity here? In this case, it is employee. Because an employee will have dependents. A dependent cannot exist on his own in a company. You cannot say, okay, I'm a dependent. If you call yourself a dependent, there should be somebody employee in that organization whose dependent you are. If you don't have any employee at all if you are not related to any employee in the organization, then you simply don't exist, right? So always a weak entity should be associated with the owner entity. You call it as a owner entity or an identifying entity, anything. So if there is I am an employee of BMS IT. I have some dependents, my mother, my father, they are dependents on me, let us say. My mother and father, why they are existing? Because I am there. They are related to me and I am an employee. That is why they are there. If I am not there, they are also not there. As a dependent. They cannot be there as a dependent. Are you understanding me? So always dependent is a weak entity means what? It is always associated with the owner entity. There should always be a identifying relationship. Look at this relationship. How we have not simply given it as a diamond. We have given it as a double diamond. Double diamond means identifying relationship. A relationship which connects the weak entity to its owner entity. Such a relationship, you call it as a identifying relationship. I repeat, identifying relationship means what? The relationship which connects the weak entity to the strong entity, a weak entity to the owner entity. Which is connecting dependent to employee, this particular relationship. It is shown as a double diamond. Double diamond represents identifying relationship, the one which connects the weak entity to the owner entity or the identifying entity. All right. Now, so weak entity also should be now here converted into a table, but since weak entity does not have a primary key, whichever is entity is the owner entity. Which entity is owner entity here? Employee. What is the primary key of employee? ESSN or SSN. That will come here along with one of the key of your weak entity. Let us say I am taking name. So ESSN plus name together will form the primary key of weak entity. Dependent name together with the ESSN will form the primary key of the dependent. So ESSN is nothing but primary key of the owner entity. This dependent name, we call it as the partial key of the weak entity. Partial key. This primary key of the owner entity plus this partial key of the weak entity together form the primary key of the weak entity. That is why you observe here, always this relationship is total. This will always be total. This will always be partial only. Why this is always total? Because every dependent is complete. Every dependent should have an employee. That's why I said if my dependents are there, they have somebody, because I am there in the organization, I can have my dependents, I can call them as my dependents. Every dependent, as dependent simply will not exist. If you don't have an employee, you are not there, right? But look at this part, it is partial. Why? Every employee need not have dependents. Suppose I don't have anyone. So I don't have any dependents on me. So every employee need not have dependents. That's why it is partial. So what is our second step? Every weak entity, whatever weak entities you are finding in the ER diagram, convert the weak entity also into a table. But you should identify a partial key of the weak entity and then put it along with the primary key of the owner entity. So ESSN is primary key of employee. Dependent name is partial key of dependent, weak entity. These two together will form the primary key of this dependent. Are you clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Any doubts, others? We have not come across any weak entity in our lab exercise till now. Okay, let us see further if we will come across that. So that's about weak entity. Next, we have mapping of binary one-to-one relationship. So you may have one-to-one relationship, binary relationship in the ER diagram. What to do with that? Whether I should convert it into table, I should not convert it into table, what I should do? Right? So there are three approaches for this. To convert a one-to-one relationship, binary relationship, if you have in the ER diagram, to convert it, you have three different approaches. First approach is the best approach. Most widely used approach is our foreign key approach, which we have been doing in all our exercise also, right? So foreign key approach, what will happen? You are going, this is a one-to-one relationship, if you see here. What is foreign key approach? Primary key of one of the entity will be included as foreign key of the other entity. Primary key of employee, I will put it as foreign key in the department table. Or should I do that? Or should I take primary key of department and put it into the as foreign key in the employee? Which way I should do? Any answers? Which way I should do? In the foreign key approach, I said we are going to include the primary key of one relation as a foreign key in the other. Here we have a one-to-one relation, manages, one employee manages one department. So it is a one-to-one relationship. Should I include the primary key of employee into the department, or should I as a foreign key, or should I include the primary key of department as a foreign key in employee? Which way I should do? That is the question. Here, if you observe, we will generally have one side it is partial participation, another side it is a total participation. Now, wherever there is a total participation, okay, there you have to include the primary key of the partial side, participation side of the relation into that. So I will include the primary key of employee as foreign key in the department table, because department side is a total participation. Whichever side you have total participation, there you have to put the primary key of the other table as a foreign key. Look at here. In the department table, you already have D name, you have D number, you have, what do we have? That's all we have. We don't have anything else. Okay. So what we have done, we have put, what is the employee, primary key of employee? It is nothing but SSN. That I have brought as foreign key into the department table. I am calling it as MGR SSN. Are you getting me?
Yes.
See,
Yes, ma'am.
yeah. See here, what is given? Let me come to the theory part. Yeah. What do we have to do? Include the primary key of one relation as foreign key in the other relation. But which relation's primary key should be included as a foreign key in which relation? Generally in the relation which has total participation. Whichever side has total participation, include there as a foreign key. So that is why your SSN will become a foreign key. We have changed the name as MGR SSN. That's all. You can retain the same name. You can change it. That is okay. So this becomes a foreign key in the department table, which is primary key in the employee table. Because department participation is total, whereas employee participation is partial. So whenever you are converting a one-to-one relationship into a table, don't create any new table for that relation. Whatever is there, see, the point of this 7 steps is whatever we are showing in ER diagram should also come into our tables. We cannot simply show it in ER diagram and not represent it in the table. That is wrong. So if I have a one-to-one relationship called as managers as such will not be there. It will not be there. But how do I show this relationship? By including the foreign key in the other table. So where I have to include it as foreign? Should I bring the primary key of employee into department as foreign key, or should I bring the primary key of department as foreign key into the employee? Which way we have to do? That is why I said whichever way, whichever direction, whichever side you have a total participation, there you include it as a foreign key. Okay. Next, that is our first approach. There are 3 approaches. So the foreign key approach is the most widely used approach. Right? Next one is the merged relationship approach. What do we do here? Okay, merged, there is a one more approach is what? Merge the 2 entity types and their relationship into a single relation. It is suitable only when total participation is there on both the sides. You don't have one side total and one side partial. You have both the side total. Then we do this. What do we do? Attributes of both the tables, both the entities, and attributes of the relationship. Everything you put as one table. That's all. Everything will come into as one table. Yeah, I can give an example for this. Merge the 2 entity types and their relationship type in a single relation. Okay. If you look at our place for table in yesterday's example, place for. Okay. Team, the player plays for team. Correct. So if you see there, it is total participation on both the side. Every team should have some players. Every player should play for some team, right? It's both the side total. What we did for place for, we created a new table. We created a table in which we included team ID, we included the player ID also. So it is generally not widely used unless you have total participation on both the sides. If you have one side partial, one side total means you have to include it as include the primary key as foreign key. If you have both the sides as total participation, then create a table for that. Yeah. The third approach is the cross-reference or the relationship relation approach. Again here, this also I said you are going to create a new relation. This is what is place for, not the previous one. This one. Create a new relation for the relationship type. Place for is a relation between team and player. So we created a new relation itself. New table itself for place for. How did we create that? We included the primary key of both the relation as foreign key. Correct? Place for, we created a table. What did it include? It included player ID. It included team ID. So primary key of both the relations we included as foreign key in that relation. Both the primary key works as composite primary key. Right? So this is what we try to do when we have a one-to-one relationship between the, generally we follow, but some of the cases we don't follow, we try to violate also, and that's okay as far as your application is working fine and you have considered all the assumptions that are given. So foreign key approach, emerged relationship approach, and the relationship relation approach. Any doubts, any questions so far?
Ma'am,
Yeah. All right, no questions, and I'll go further. Next, coming to one-to-n relationship. If you have a one-to-n relationship, then how can you try to map it? Let us take some example. One-to-n relationship. See here. So this is one-to-n. Many employees, one-to-n or n-to-1? One-to-n we are seeing here. Okay. So one department will have many employees. So then again, how are you going to convert this into a table? Okay. Now, whenever you have a binary relationship 1 to n, first you have to find out the one side of the relation and n side of the relation. Which is one side of the relation here? It is department. This is your one side of the relation. N side of the relation is what? It is employee. Okay. Now, whenever you have like that, always you have to include the primary key of the one side of the relation as a foreign key in the n side of the relation. That is how you convert a one-to-n relationship. First, identify which is the one side and which is the n side. Here, one side is department. One department has n number of employees. That is a relationship here. So, department is 1. Employee is n. Okay. So, include the primary key of the one side of the relation as a foreign key in the n side of the relation. So, what we have done here, look here. Name, SSN, address, salary, DOB, D number you have. D number here acts as a foreign key. Primary key of your department is brought as foreign key in the employee, because employee is the n side of the relation. Are you getting me?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Find the n side of the relationship first. One side, which is 1, which is n, you have to find out. Include the primary key of the one side of the relation as a foreign key in the n side of the relation. That's all. That is how you convert 1:n. See here. This is also again a 1 to n. 1 to n. One department controls n projects. One department controls n projects. So one side is your department. N side is project. What you should do? Primary key of department should be included as foreign key in the project. Look at this. Project has what attributes? P name, P number, P location. These are attributes of project. That is all there. But what you have done? You have also included D number as a foreign key. Primary key of department. Because one side of the relation is department. Primary key of one side of a relation should come in as foreign key in the n side of the relation. That is what we have done. Right. Next, see this example. What kind of a relationship is this? What kind of a relationship is this? Supervision is what kind of relationship? What kind of relationship is supervision? No one knows, huh? Next week is internals. Supervision is a recursive relationship. What is recursive relationship? Same entity participates in two different roles in the relationship. Then you call it as a recursive relationship. Which is the entity participating in the relationship here? It is employee. Employee itself is participating 2 times. We don't have 2 different entities like this. We don't have 2 different entities. We have only one entity which is participating in different roles in this relationship called as supervision. So supervision is a recursive relationship. Recursive relationship means same entity, it is participating in 2 different roles in the relationship. Then you call it as a recursive relationship. This is controls. Controls is not a recursive relationship because you have 2 separate entities. Department is one entity, project is one entity. So it is not called as recursive relation. Whereas you see this employee participates in supervision. Supervision, you have only one entity there. Employee is the only entity. You don't have any other entity. Now, which is the one side of the relation is also employee, N side of the relation is also employee. So I will simply include one more attribute here, super SSN, which acts as a foreign key. SSN is the primary key. In the same table, I will also include SSN as a foreign key. I'll change the name. I will give it a super SSN. So that's how you convert 1:n. Primary key of one side of the relation should be included as foreign key in the N side of the relationship. So next is mapping of M:n, many to many. What do we do? Okay. What do we do for M:n? Many to many. So what is this? Employee works on project. Many employees can work on many projects. Then what do we do? Whenever this kind of a relationship is there, we will convert this relationship into a new table or create a new table for this relationship. Till now, we have not created any new table for relationship. We have only spoken about including it as a foreign key, primary key, that's all. But when you have a M:n, many to many relationship, then for that relationship, you will create a new table. So many employees work on many projects. That is the example here. Employee, you have already created a table, separate table with all its attributes. Project, you have already created a table with all its attributes because these two are strong entity, we have created already. Now this works on, you have to create a new table for this relationship. See here. You have created a new table. What it should include? It should include the primary key of employee. It should include the primary key of the project and any other attributes that this relationship has. These 3 will come into your works on table. So whenever you have M:n, many to many, create a table for that relationship along with the primary key of the entities. So primary key of employee will be an attribute, will be one column. Primary key of project will be one column. Apart from that, if the relationship itself has attributes, that will also come as one column in the new table that you are creating. Any doubts?
No, ma'am.
No.
Next comes your multi-valued attribute. Whenever you have a multi-valued attribute, how you should put it in the table. Okay, in our example ER diagram, we had this department location as a multi-valued attribute. You remember when we created the department table, we did not include department location because this department location is a multi-valued attribute. Now, whenever you have a multi-valued attribute, you have to create a new table for this along with the primary key of this table. Right? So, D-location represents the multi-valued attribute here. So what you should do, you have to create a new table and by including the primary key of department and that particular attribute. Can you give me another example that we have done in our lab exercise, any of you?
Phone number, ma'am.
Yeah, where? Which table?
Player table.
Yes. See, in the player table, very good. In the player cricket application, what they had told, every player can have multiple phone numbers. They had told that. If you refer back to our ER diagram that we had written, for player entity, we had shown phone number as a multi-valued attribute. Look into the player table. Have we included phone number there as an attribute, as a column? We have not included in the player. Player only contains player ID, player name, age. That's all. We have not put phone number as an attribute as a column in the player table. That is because phone number is a multi-valued attribute. So what we did, we created a separate table called phone player. If you remember that. Phone player, or what we gave name, I don't remember. So we created a new table called as phone player. What were the attributes of that particular table? The primary key of the player table, that is player ID, and then phone number. That is how you should show or convert a multi-valued attribute. Don't include it along with the table that you create for that particular entity. For player, you have created a table, but in that player, you cannot include phone number as a column. We have not done that. Look into your cricket example in yesterday's lab. We have taken player as a separate table with player ID, player name, and age. You have to take one more table. We have written player phone number, wherein we have included the primary key of player, that is player ID, plus this attribute phone number. So these two together, that is player ID, phone number together, will become the primary key of that table called player phone. Same thing is done here also. D location is a multi-valued attribute. You cannot include it in the department table like this. D location, yeah. You can't do that. So you have to create a new table for department location. Call it with some other name, department location. But you should include the primary key of that. D number and that attribute together will become the primary key. Any doubts for converting multi-valued attributes? We've already done in the lab also. Though we are not using that table at all. Player phone, we never used that table. Correct? But we have to do it because they have told phone number. You have in the ER diagram, you have shown it as a double ellipse for phone number. Correct? Because it's a multi-valued attribute. The same concept should be reflected in your table creation also. Having shown in the ER diagram a multi-valued attribute, if I include a phone number along with player, that is wrong. Ideally speaking, you could have done it because we have not used that particular multi-valued phone number. Any query we have not done. You could have done, but since they have asked for it, you have to show like that only. Otherwise, it will become wrong. So whenever you have a multi-valued attribute, push that attribute as a separate table along with the primary key of that entity, whichever is having this multi-valued attribute. Next is n-ary relation. That means if you have more than two entities participating in a relationship. So we saw 1-to-1 binary, 1-to-n binary, m-to-n binary. All that we have seen how to convert it into tables. If you have more than two, you have a ternary relationship. Generally, more than ternary, we don't go. Ternary relationship, then how to do? That time also, you have to simply create a new table for this ternary relationship. That's all. So create a new table for this ternary relationship along with the primary key of supplier, primary key of part, primary key of project. All this will come along with the attributes of that relationship itself. That will form, this is not supplier, the supply. That will form your table. Whenever you have a ternary relationship, create a new table for that relationship. Include the primary key of the entities which are participating in that relationship. Which are the entities which are participating? It is supplier. So include the primary key of the supplier. Project is also participating, so include the primary key of the project, that is project name. Part is also participating, so include the part number of the part table. Also, if this is a quantity, if you are seeing here, that is an attribute of the relationship itself. So that also should come as one of the attributes. So if you have a ternary relationship, simply create a new table for that relationship and include the primary keys of all the three entities. Can you give me any example that we have done in our lab examples? Have we done anything like this? Did we have any ternary relationship?
Yes, ma'am. Team
Yeah, which
match and stadium.
very good. Place. Place is a ternary relationship there. In that place is a ternary relationship means there are three entities which are participating in that relationship place. One is team, one is stadium, one is match. How have we created this place table? We have created a new table for place. What does this place contain? It contains team ID, it contains stadium ID, it contains match ID also. Correct? Along with that, it of course contains date and time as well. That is there because that is the attribute of the place itself. So whenever you have we have done all this, only the thing is we have not realized it maybe. So whenever you have a ternary relationship, create a table for that particular relationship. So we have a ternary relationship called as place. Stadium, match and team are the three entities which are participating in that. We have included the primary key of all the three tables in that new table that we have created for place. Right?
Ma'am,
Yeah, tell me.
ma'am, in the first exercise of the lab exercise, will borrow be a ternary relationship?
No, borrow is not a ternary relationship there. Have we shown it as a ternary relationship there?
Ma'am, it's borrow date, then student and the book name, I guess. Yes.
Yeah.
No, I felt it.
Student borrows books. That's all. There are only two entities which are participating. That is student and book. That's all. It is not a ternary relationship. But still we have made borrows as a table because they are themselves given that we have to make it as a table. That's why we have made it. First exercise, if you observe, they have already given to us what are the tables that we have to create. You observe that?
Branch student.
Yeah, they have given it. So we cannot avoid. So we have to give.
Okay.
Yeah. Any more doubts? So these are the 7 steps of converting our ER diagram to this relationship or relation schema. So you can take any example wherever we have done. See, for example, place is a ternary relationship. You can show the same example and explain that last part. Player phone number, that itself you can show for this multi-valued attribute. You don't have to take the same example. You can show, but for every step, please show an example. That is more important. I hope I have made it clear. Any doubts, you can ask me. Answer your attendance. Anaga,
Yes, ma'am.
Abhilash,
Yes, ma'am.
Akhil,
Yes.
Akrut,
Yes, ma'am.
Anusha,
Yes, ma'am.
Arvind,
Present, ma'am.
Harikula,
Yes, ma'am.
Janaka,
Present, ma'am.
Banu, Bhargav,
Yes, ma'am.
Anantula. Yeah. Bhargav, represent.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Chaitra,
Present, ma'am.
Chandana. Chandana is not there. Charan. Darshan.
Present, ma'am.
Diksha.
Present, ma'am.
Dakshayani.
Present, ma'am.
Kishan. Harshit.
Present, ma'am.
Present, ma'am.
Hema.
Present, ma'am.
Uma.
Present, ma'am.
Jayant.
Present, ma'am.
Divya.
Yes, ma'am.
Kaushik.
Present, ma'am.
Lakshmi Lavanya.
Present, ma'am. Present, ma'am.
Manish. Yeah. Manish.
Present. Present, ma'am.
Yeah, Manoj.
Present, ma'am.
Mohit.
Yes, ma'am.
Naval.
Present, ma'am.
Navya.
Present, ma'am.
Nikhil.
Yes, ma'am.
Panindra.
Present, ma'am.
Pavan. Pooja.
Yes, ma'am.
Present, ma'am.
Purnima.
Present, ma'am.
Pavan. Rashmi.
Present, ma'am.
Rupak.
Yes, ma'am.
Sai Kumar.
Present, ma'am.
Samir.
Present, ma'am.
Santosh.
Present, ma'am.
Shadab.
Present, ma'am.
Karan. Shashank.
Present, ma'am.
Vital.
Present, ma'am.
Rani.
Present, ma'am.
Soumya.
Present, ma'am.
Purti.
Present, ma'am.
Vishnu.
Present, ma'am.
Sugandhini.
Present, ma'am.
Ushma.
Present, ma'am.
Sushmita. Sushmita, you.
Present, ma'am.
Tirtha.
Present, ma'am.
Priti.
Present, ma'am.
Varshavina.
Present, ma'am.
Yeah. Shadab is present. Sushmita BS present. Manish present. Sharan present. Rahmatullah present. Chandana is absent. Charan, is he present? Chandana is absent. Charan is absent. Okay. Thank you, students.